What we're going to start with is we're going to do a ribbon pour, and we're going to start with the water only. I like these colors together. I think that they're interesting. With a ribbon pour, we're just going to layer the colors one or two times. We're not gonna spend a lot of time layering. So we said that we wanted the blue on top. So we're just gonna let's pour half of it in there. And then we'll take a yellow, pour half of that, try half of the green, and half of the raw. I'll just do that a second time and finish it out. So I believe this is a 4-ounce cup. So I'd say we have 3 ounces. If I were to guess. I'm not going to use a base coat. We're just going to do a ribbon here. This is no pouring medium. Interesting how the paint reacts when it touches each other as I go across. I'm already getting cells. Can you see that there? That's interesting. I didn't use a base. I did that intentionally. Hopefully it won't affect composition too much. This is just a little test, so. Let's see how it's moving across the canvas. I have just enough paint, I think, for this size canvas. I didn't overdo it with the paint. It is a little thin. So you can see it moving across the canvas pretty quickly. I really like how it's separating there into cells. Very coordinated here, am I? See if we can eke out just a little bit more onto this corner. Moving a little slow. I do see some bubbles, so I'm going to torch that. I'm not unhappy with the composition. Are the colors a little muddy? Maybe, but it's really interesting what it's doing here. It's brought the blue in and created some, almost like what a milk paint would do. So that's really interesting. Got some new cells here where the bubbles popped. So what that tells me is that the density layering is what has helped here to get these cells, and the blue is trying to rise. So that must have been, I must have done a good guessing there on the density of the blue. Booger in there. And you can see here that the green is coming up through the yellow. So the green must be less dense than the yellow ochre also. So the blue is less dense than the yellow ochre, and the green is less dense than the yellow ochre. Okay, good to know. I'm going to pause and get ready for my next one. Okay, so here we go. We are now going to be doing the same type of ribbon pour using the mix that has the pouring medium in it. I'm going to do the same order. These are a little thin. Green. Ooh. Oops. And the brown. We have more blue. So we have more paint, but I'm still going to go ahead and pour it all in there because this is a side-by-side comparison. So what that'll probably do is mess up our composition because we're going to have to get more paint off of the canvas. So whereas we had 3 ounces before, we're going to have 4 ounces this time. Well, that's okay. We were just shy of enough, it seems like, on the last one, so maybe this one will work better. Boy, I hope you could have seen me, but maybe you couldn't. Okay, we're going to do a ribbon pour. Here we go. All right, so for me, these colors are binding together better. It's a creamier consistency. It feels like a marriage rather than dating. But because of that, I'm not getting the separation of color like I was on the one with water. So it'll be interesting to see if I get any cells. I don't have to worry as much about tilting in order to fill the canvas because I've got plenty of paint. So interestingly, do you see the blue is sinking? I'm losing the blue. It'll come back, I believe, once I get some tilting done, get some of the paint off of here, and it should pop back up through the other colors. So perhaps it's my imagination, but I'm feeling like the composition is working better on this one as far as the lines staying where they're supposed to stay, as opposed to running over each other. It feels to me like this creamier consistency is allowing the paint to slide together instead of apart from each other. It could have to do with my consistency. I'm not going to say I'm perfect in every way. But to me, the composition on this is so much better. I haven't even done the torch on this yet, but I do see a couple of cells, not as many cells coming up as on the one with just water. Ah, this, here they come. Here they come. I think they're not going to be real prevalent. I think they'll be small, and it might take them a little bit of time to develop. But I love the way, look at the way this blue, it goes dark blue, light blue, and then that green together. And it's just, it's like a marriage. They just flow together so nicely. These colors gradiate in shades, which I love that. So interestingly, on this other one, let's put this back in front of you. There's a cloudier quality. The colors stayed more separate from each other, it looks like, and the yellow is more prevalent. So I'm seeing yellow, brown, green, blue, very much separate. Even though they're dancing together in the cells and the cloudiness, which I really love. And this one is just more stable, in my opinion. Just looks more stable. Both have a great look to them. This one also has a real shiny quality to it that the other one doesn't have. So this one looks more finished in its look. I see I am starting to get a little bit off the side here, which actually I don't see that on the other painting, so that's interesting. I don't know if it's drying that quick, or what's going on with that. Why the pigment wouldn't be sticking to the edges as well. Well, so that's an experiment. I appreciate you watching. It looks like, oops, whether you choose water or whether you choose pouring medium, they both have good reasons to use them. It is a little bit cheaper to use the pouring medium. You get a little bit more paint, allows for better composition, a shinier finish. And with water, it looks like the paints interact a little bit differently, so you get a different look. So anyway, this is Michelle Jenkins, Grandma Michelle's Art, and thank you so much for coming to my studio.